I said to him that I will promise you that I will fulfill your wish. What is your wish? And he started to say that when I die, I want you to bury these sacks of money in my grave as well. After saying that, he started to shake, and the notes he was holding in his hands fell out from his hand, and the hand fell on the bed. He tilted his head sideways, and his soul left his body, meaning he passed away. I put myself together and quickly gathered all the notes that were on his chest and on the ground and put them back in the sack. I tied a tight knot on the opening of the sack and returned them under the pile of rubbish. With the help of some trustworthy individuals, I was successful in digging a very big grave and burying the mysterious beggar along with them 4 sacks full of money. After a while, I started experiencing loss in my business. And I thought to myself, how foolish I am for having buried the sacks of money with him according to his bill. Obviously the money could not benefit him in the grave. If I kept it with me, I would not struggle the way I am doing so. I would have been rich. The shaitan started giving me them deceiving thoughts in my mind. And one day, I made the courage. I went to the burial place, I went to his grave, and I gathered some courage. And one night, I got some tools to dig the grave, and went to the graveyard. I stood near his grave as a terrifying silence surrounded me. My heart was beating very fast, and I was sweating. Finally, I gathered enough courage and began digging his grave. 2 to 3 strokes later, I began feeling better. After a little work, I managed to dig a hole in the grave. All I had to do was put my hand inside the grave, but again I started losing courage. My whole body started shivering due to the fear, and different horrifying thoughts started coming into my mind. Something within me was telling me to go back and stop destroying myself by taking this haram money. But finally, greed overcame me, and the vision of being rich boosted my morale and gave me enough courage to continue. I was very close to my destination. The lust for money made me forget the consequences, and I put my right hand in the grave. I was searching for the sack when my hand touched something very, very hot. I started screaming due to pain and fear, and my scream disappeared into the horrifying silence of the graveyard. I removed my hand from the grave and ran as fast as I could. My hand was badly burnt, and I could feel intense pain. I wept and I begged for forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jal, but the pain of my hand was still there. Until now, I have shown my hand to allow physicians and herbal doctors, but no one can cure me. I only feel better when I put my fingers in water, so I try to keep my hand in the water as much as I could. After listening to this story, my heart became disgusted with the world. I started hating the worldly power of money, and I remembered the following verse from the Holy Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhaakumut takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir. Translation from Kanzul Iman. Piling of more wealth kept you heedless until you saw your grave. My dear Islamic brothers, what does this story teach us? What is this story trying to tell us? One thing that we learn from this story is that lust, that love of this world and the love of money. If that is in someone's heart, then a person, he would not think twice of even committing a haram act as well. जहाँ मैंने इबरत के हर सू नमूने मगर तुझको अंधा किया है रंगो बूने कभी गौर से ये भी देखा है तूने जो आबाद थे वो महल अब है सूने जगह जी लगाने की दुनिया नहीं है ये इबरत की जा है तमाशा नहीं है. That is from भाइयों, if you really look at this incident and then we put ourselves in that same situation and think that how much love of the world and love of the wealth we have today, and then we will come out with the result. Love of the world. The Prophet ﷺ, a companion, came up to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, if I work hard for my family, and if I work for my children, so that I don't need to beg in front of people, is that love of the world as well?" And the Prophet ﷺ, he replied that if you earn your money so that you can earn halal, so that you don't have to beg in front of people, so that you can feed your family and children with halal, then that is not money, but that will be ibadah for you. So my dear Islam brothers, when we are working, when we are earning our halal money, every moment of our time will be spent in the ibadah of Allah Azza wa Jal. Like Abu Zurr rahmatullahi ta'ala, he says that when a person leaves his house and he makes good intentions, every action of his will be ibadah for him. But when is it ibadah and when is it not ibadah? There are a few ways. Today, if you think to yourself, if someone is working all day long, he doesn't bother about his namaz, he doesn't bother about anything else, the only thing which is focused and embedded in his mind is that he needs to earn money, then that person, then that is not ibadah. The shaitan, he sometimes whispers these things into our minds. If you ask someone, why do you work for so long? Why do you work so many hours? Why do you even get time to go home? And the answer we give is, brother, well, working and trying to earn halal money is ibadah. So my dear Islam brothers, that is the whisper of the shaitan. That the shaitan is trying to whisper this in our hearts. It's alright. You can work all day, you don't have to read your namaz, and that will still be ibadah. We are just making a fool of ourselves. If that is our daily routine, if that is what we are doing, if what we are doing is only trying to earn money for this world, trying to compete with our neighbors, trying to compete with someone else so that we can have a better house, we can have a better life in this world, then that is not ibadah. And according to some Musulman and some ulama kiram, they say that even to work in a place where a person is not allowed to offer his salah, it is forbidden to work in a place. For example, you work in a factory, they won't let you offer your salah. Your 5 times salah is farz on you. And earning halal money is farz. But the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal comes before everything. Because our purpose, our reason for creation was to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you work in a place where they would not let you offer your salah, and even sometimes brothers work in a place where they would not even offer their Jummah namaz. And some of the brothers you ask, it's been years and years, they haven't offered their Jummah namaz. The only time they get a chance to read their Jummah namaz is when it's holidays. Or when you are ill and you haven't been to work, that is the only time you come to the masjid and read our Jummah namaz. My dear Islam brothers, that is what you call love of this world. And that is what the Prophet ﷺ, he says, that the root of every evil is the love of this world. And even Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi, he commentates on a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. What is the hadith? The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ is the Prophet ﷺ, he said that the world is like a dead meat, a raw meat, dead flesh. The world is like raw meat, dead flesh, and those who run for it, and those who try to achieve it, are like dogs. Why did the Prophet ﷺ say that those people who are madly in love with the world are like dogs? Because what will a dog do? If a dog finds another dog, even though that dog is dead, he will still eat him. If we've seen that. Dogs eat dogs. And then, he will not be able to eat him all. So what he does, he will never let another dog join him. If you have a little flesh, or a lump of meat, and you throw it in front of a dog, you will see that he will pick it up and he will start running away. He will not let someone else join him. He will not let his friends or his brothers join and eat with him. He will take it and he will run away. Exactly in the same way we are seeing today in our own society. Are we not seeing that today our brother is the biggest enemy of his own brother?